So that's my friend Brent Turner's band. He's the inspiration for this show today. It's about open source election software, and in past shows I've talked about our TVs watching us, right? Well, it seems that there's remote access viewing, you know, like probably PC Anywhere, in voting machines as well, so cute. And we had Alex Padilla, who kind of fibbed about open source voting software being open, and at the very end it was leveraged, so it's actually not open source. It was just a bait and switch operation. We've seen it before, and it's just a shame. But so I'll play you some of the video in Brent Turner's public comment, because you should see this. This is what he had to say.
Together.
Agenda item number 3 is a hearing on the recently published 2017-2018 Civil Grand Jury report entitled Open Source Voting in San Francisco. Agenda item number 4 is a hearing on the recently published 2017-2018 Civil Grand Jury report entitled Crisis Intervention, Bridging Police and Public Health.
Thank you so much. And for this next item, we have Brady Ward, who is presenting for the Civil Grand Jury on open source voting. We will have public comment on all 3 items together.
Hi, thank you so much, Supervisor Kim and Chairperson Kim and the rest of the supervisors. I just want to first start by thanking the rest of the committee that I worked with. This was not a production myself alone, but of a really dedicated committee of 4 people who set out to understand this really complex issue. And our goal in this report was trying to dig past a lot of rhetoric and idealism and fear around.
Well, we don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to skip to Brent. Brent had some interesting things to say about open source, and this is who's inspired the show today. He's at the end. Because you'll be able to see this on the full version of this on the Axis of Love show sometime in November. That's the next open time slot. There he is.
I handed in a written response Cabo made to the Civil Grand Jury, and I just want to thank all the supervisors and late Mayor Lee and current Mayor Breed for their support of the open source voting system. We at Open Voting Consortium, and now more currently the California Association of Voting Officials, are the pioneers of this open source election system work nationally, and as well as this project, and recognize switching to a new election technology takes time. It's not necessarily complicated to build out the system. There's precedent in New Hampshire, but if we're going to do it right, obviously we have to garner the political will. That's taken about 10 years, and now we're glad to see Linda Jarrell and the Department of Technology step in, and we can hopefully get started. This year's Civil Grand Jury called me in to discuss the Cabo response, and the new Grand Jury accepted the information I presented, and I had some corrections to the report. It seemed to be basically founded in the Slalom report, and I've gone on record in front of the Election Commission to say that the
Hey, I've got
Slalom
you on the
report
air.
was
Your
ignorant
public
in a
comment.
lot of ways. They didn't speak to the real pioneers, the real knowledgeable folks that have accomplished open source voting nationally, and we directed them to do so, but they did not.
Would you like to call the studio
It is
phone?
great news that we look like we're moving toward a general public license open source system now, and we recognize there's been 2 failed projects, one in Travis County, Texas, and one in Los Angeles. And with the other technology now involved, we think we're going to avoid.
Yeah, I can hear you. We'll finish up your. I've got the guy live now, so no need. We've got his public comment from the Civil Grand Jury report at the Board of Supervisors, Government Audits and Oversight Committee. And this is my guest, Brent Turner. You saw some really banging rock and roll. That's him, his band, OD, by the way. Check them out. And thanks for that. I wasn't ready for your music to be that great, that good. So, thanks for that.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah, so I've been reading through some of your emails, you know, your email links, and some of them just have my hair standing on end, especially the remote access PC Anywhere type stuff installed on those voting machines. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's a mess, obviously, from the core issue of the software to the design and the hardware and the affectations and just the arrogance with the ignorance.
Yeah.
I would say.
Well, I've got a picture of you and Nadia. So,
Yes.
Pussy Riot, yeah. Is she involved in any way since she happens to be Russian? I'm just curious.
I'm sorry, I missed your question.
Oh,
what did you say about her?
I've got a picture of you. Yeah, Nadia. So she's Russian. Does she? Are you collaborating in music, or are you collaborating in anything else?
Yes. Well, of course, I'm always available to collaborate with anyone. I think her calendar is, out of the country a lot. Is my understanding from her. But yeah, we're trying to get a song together for an artist in a band called Intervention X, and
Oh, all right.
and then also, of course, the election system issue is the same or worse, maybe, in Russia as it is in the United States.
Oh, I believe it.
And worldwide, obviously, this is a worldwide problem. We need to move this, effort in San Francisco forward and get a nice certified system coming out of San Francisco that can lead the country, and then anybody could use the software and such.
Yes. Well, the Department of Technology, by the way, which is involved in this project, yes?
Yes.
And they're not going to just copy and paste open source and then put a back door on it and pretend it's open source.
With the systems design, there is a good ability for public oversight and redundancy in the system. Very difficult to play a game on a proper open source system. You never want to say it's completely impossible, but the idea is right now there is really no penalty and no barrier to messing with an election system. And with our system, it would be very difficult to perpetrate such an act. And if you did get caught, we advocate for an increase of penalties to make any sort of activity, basically a high crime and misdemeanor.
Oh, it should be, as it should be. Oh, it should be a constitutional amendment about it. I'd like, or something.
Yes. Speaking of that, let me just plug the Election Security Act.
Yes, I've got that page open right now. The Election Transparency and Security Act 2020 prohibits secret voting system software, make open source voting the law.
Yes, that's really getting to the point for a lot of this, and with the environmental reports coming out saying that we've got 11 years to get off fossil fuels and get our environmental plan solid, that we got to get these systems corrected immediately, and so that act right there would make it a big leap forward for open source systems, and then it has the additional element of allowing people to vote on smartphones. And this is real cutting edge technology, the studies haven't been conducted to the extent necessary to really get a robust system together. But with open source and blockchain and the voters' ability to verify their vote at the end of the process via precinct by precinct spreadsheet that would be accessible to the public
Yep.
online. These sort of methods will, for one thing, in territories that suffer, it'll cure Jim Crow, because now you're not playing games on the communities of color by diddling with their precincts and disallowing them to vote and all that bullshit.
So you're
That's
saying
over.
you're saying that the white supremacy is mainly behind a lot of voter suppression, both front and back end.
Oh, I wouldn't pass it. You
Well,
know, I don't put
Russia,
anything past-
Venezuela. What about this Russia-Venezuela connection? Or something, you know, weren't you saying the Nazis? Oy.
Well, I don't put anything past anybody. That's not my place or position. Everybody's a suspect in my world of dirty voting systems and dirty voting system manufacturers. This is the cesspool of cesspools. Luckily, there's light in the cesspool because San Francisco, through Mayor Breed and specifically the supervisors, they have all really stepped up to do great work.
Have they?
And the elections. And
Okay, good.
well, they're pushing it forward enough so that right now it looks like the project is starting.
I'll believe it when I
And
see it.
well, that's me too. When I wake up in the morning and they're using it in an election,
Yeah.
then we'll know that's that. But it is a moment of to be noted because the project is starting in December
Yeah.
underneath the Department of Technology. And what did that take us, Denise? You're familiar with all this. 10 years to get it to this point?
Well, 2007.
Yeah, over 10 years.
Yeah.
And you know, Alan Deckard, he was doing this stuff back in 2000. He was raising hell. So it's been 18 years for him. I've been doing this now about 50.
50 years. Oi. See,
No,
15.
No, 15.
yeah,
Yeah, 50.
yeah. Well, since we've had voting by computerized voting systems.
Yeah, hey, I've been yelling at people for 50 years, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Haven't we? Okay. Good for you. Piss off all the right people. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, so no uniform national open source policy then. We have to just do it city
no.
by city.
County by county, state by state. It's a market issue. In the end, the people purchase their machines, and then you coach them to move toward the public systems, and they can do it a lot cheaper, which they like, and they can buy off the shelf hardware. The software is free. They got to invest in their IT to be able to handle everything and get off their, desk chair and do the right thing to educate up. But once they get past that learning curve, there's going to be service companies and folks to assist and an entire ecosystem that has to really evolve for the whole system to be proper. But San Francisco is obviously the best place to pioneer. That's the way it all happened. Los Angeles tried; they failed miserably.
With
With
Padilla.
a lot of
Padilla, yeah.
Dean Logan down there is their registrar. He we told him what to do it proper. He went on his own path, and there's a lot of money missing, and their system isn't open source like they're announcing, which is really bizarre that they're so arrogant that they're going to try to fool the people regarding what an open source voting system is. And so luckily folks like Open Source Initiative stepped in to say, hey, here's the definition of open source. Don't try to fool the people. This is all regulated.
Are we talking about the Smartmatic systems that they had in LA with Venezuelan government-backed software and during the Chavez period when Putin...
I don't know. I don't know what they're... I think Smartmatic is in there now doing something. They still got their hands in it.
Oh, man.
It's a disaster, and we told everybody this was going to happen, and from the design, there was a sole source contract done with a group called IDO that, got everybody's attention. We said there's money going south, and now they've announced the system is an open source system, and it is not.
Right. Yeah,
so,
he leveraged, you mean he leveraged it at 7:27 p.m. Yeah. Was that... So, now, what about this ballot initiative, or when do we start gathering signatures for that?
That's as soon as possible. We are looking forward to the folks getting that accomplished. There's a website up. Contact them directly and just get involved, because if we can get open source in California as quickly as possible, and also get a proper smartphone system up and running, we'll be again leading for the future. This, I believe, is the future. Right now, of course, we're really focused on just getting an open source system up and running and certified through San Francisco.
Yeah,
that's our number one.
Baby steps. So in Australia, by the way, it's mandatory to vote. So anyway.
Yeah, that's a different issue, a little authoritarian perspective there. I don't know. We'll leave all that stuff up to the people. We just want to make sure that when you press Jones, it doesn't come up Smith.
Absolutely, and they can't purge people from the voter rolls, which is what happened, last.
Purging people from the voter rolls could almost be misdirection to letting them vote and then spinning the vote backwards. It's all bad. It's all to be avoided, and it's all simply avoided. You just have to take the steps that are necessary. This is not rocket science. These are just very bad forces at play.
Well, I've got about one more minute. I've got this page open. Before I left the house, I saw this in the email. There was a link. I've been following some of the links in your emails, and one of them is about the vendor admitting it's installed remote access software systems sold to states. Oh, that.
Yeah, isn't that bizarre? It just never ceases to amaze. But you're dealing with vendors that, there's no quality assurance there, and a lot of them, if you look into their backgrounds, it's mob stuff. These are another, just more gangsters.
Huh. Yeah, no shortage of them on the dark web too.
No, these people, you think you're going into a meeting with them, the next thing you know, you're chopped up into pieces and you're leaving in 5 different briefcases.
Oh, cut up with a bone saw, you mean?
Yeah.
Oy.
These are mean people. So we got to put the kibosh on them, and luckily, there's some movement here.
Yes, and thank you for your work with this. You're practically single-handedly doing the most important work I can imagine.
Well, I appreciate you thinking that. There is a lot of people behind the scenes and a lot of people that are really smart on the tech end, and of course people like yourself play in that keep chronicling this stuff, because I think one day the people are going to say, why were we using insecure systems? And when they find out Microsoft and their buddies blocked the better systems from coming in and helping protect democracy, I think the people are going to be pissed off.
That's right, and we should be. So we've got, I've got it on the page, people. Thanks, Brent Turner, very much for your participation in this show, and keep doing what you do.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
So the Election Transparency and Security Act, just go to that website, and I thank you very much for watching. I'm just blown away by this stuff.